All right, here we go. What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. We have a very special guest here today. This is my sister, Kemi.
Hello. We follow the path that we believe in. No, we're not gonna stop until we reach it.
She's available. If you guys like her, then send me a message.
I'm little dust and clean my throat.
So let's just kind of dive right into it. The very first question is, a lot of people are asking, who is older out of you, Amanda, and I?
I'm in the background, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we can't talk too much mad trash on
Oh,
Amanda.
yeah.
Well, we still can, actually.
You guys ever hear them talking about me behind my back? I've already heard it.
In the last episode, Amanda called me a little shit, so I'm gonna say whatever I want about her.
Amanda!
Wait,
Language.
why did I call you that?
Just because they were like, "How was Esco when he was little?" and you were like, "He was a little shit."
I'm being honest.
That's true. I won't hold it against you. My videos are getting so much better. I'm so happy about it. And I've been waiting for weeks to finally have my sister Cami be on my channel. And so this one's going to be awesome. I hope you guys love it. I didn't get a post online to get you guys' questions for her. But we do plan on doing a part 2 and a follow-up and stuff like that. So you guys can get your questions in for that one, okay? So feel free to put any questions in the comments that you want me to ask her. But we're just going to dive right into it. So the very biggest question I get all the time is, what age order is you, Amanda, and I?
I'm the baby.
She's also a liar. I did not expect that.
I am the oldest of all 10 siblings.
Yeah, I consider her one of my mamas. And that's saying a lot because I already have 3 of them. But
Yep.
she takes really good care of us. We always look to Cami for like advice and ask her about different life situations that we need help with because she's already been through it all. So it's been awesome.
Not all of it, but I'm always years ahead of you guys, so.
Literally, she was one of the biggest helps to me going to college. How long has it been since you left the Kingston Polygamous Group?
2013, June of 2013.
June?
So you're saying you left before me?
Ooh.
When did you leave?
Let's figure this out, guys.
July 25th of 2013.
Okay.
Who left first? Let's debate.
Well, because that's what's a little
It
bit.
is a debate, though, because if it were up to me, I would have been gone at like 16. But then
Right.
also were sending me back home, and in my heart, I had left. But
Yeah. But also, I think that your situation was a little different because my perspective was I was leaving my marriage and it was a little different where I wasn't sitting here like announcing like, okay, I'm gone, I'm left the order, I'm done. I was focused on getting out of my marriage. So.
Yeah. So that's a very interesting perspective because you got married in the cult and
At
then had
18.
to go through the whole process of leaving and everything.
Yeah.
So that's got to be tough. We're definitely going to talk a little bit on that, but we're not going to dive too deep into that whole marriage and divorce and stuff like that because all of that is on Amanda's channel. If you want to hear more details about that specific thing, you can watch Amanda's YouTube video called My Sister Cami's Story, I think
my
it's.
sister's story, yeah, we have a part 1, part 2. Just leave a link down below.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
they
have those all linked down below. Today, I want to dive a little bit more into the mental process of leaving, what that was like for you. We also did want to figure out who left first out of you and Amanda and things like that, and how it was different. Because did Amanda like help you? Because I know usually whoever leaves first helped everyone else kind of leave. I know Amanda helped me. You helped me a ton. Was there anyone that helped you, and what was that like for you?
Yeah, I definitely think that at that time, both Amanda and I were in survival mode. So it was kind of like just figure it out as we go. I think we helped each other out, to be honest, where we could.
Because you guys were like super close, always telling each other secrets, always talking,
honest,
right?
Though, when we were leaving, we were in such survival mode that we didn't
It was
see each
hard.
other as much.
It was really difficult.
Really?
Yeah.
You guys didn't kind of count on each other and stuff?
We
or?
couldn't. How could we? Like, I literally left with $300 in my
Oh,
pocket.
that's
That's it.
right. And no car, you
No
guys.
car,
That would
nothing.
be so hard.
Yeah. So, but I did get help with our
Our
Aunt
aunt,
Teresa.
I know, she's a
So
lifesaver.
she
She's
was the
awesome.
one that helped take me in, gave me a place to stay while I was trying to get a job, all that. So definitely some help there. I think that Amanda during that process, Amanda was getting help from her adoptive family. So it was like we were just trying to survive in whatever way we could at that point in time.
Nice. Okay. And so can you at least share a little bit of like the day that happened and just a little bit of the process? Because you left before we even knew about escaping polygamy and before people could actually like film and help us document it. So yours was completely in the unknown. Even me, I was kind of like talking with her a little bit about it last night, and there was a lot of things I realized that like that actually happened. Like I'm surprised because she told me the story before, but I guess I didn't get all of the details and stuff, which I was really surprised. But so how did the actual, when you left that night, happen? And then what was the process from there?
So that's what's interesting is I feel like there wasn't like a specific night that I was like, okay, I'm leaving. Because it all ties back to that story that I talked about on Amanda's channel was the night that I officially decided I'm not going back to my husband in the order. You know, I was like, this is it. The way I'm being treated, I can't do this. And you can go look at that story. But so that's when I called Teresa, and she helped come pick me up. And she was my therapist at that time. I bawled to her about everything that was going on.
But that's a part of why it was so difficult for you, because like she didn't have a car. She only had $300. So once you finally confirmed in your head you need to leave, you literally had to call and get a ride and everything, right?
Yep, exactly.
And I heard it was really hard for you to even pack anything, right?
Yeah. So essentially, I just packed up what I could. That next morning actually was what it was. And took what I could with me, and then I went to try to go back. He had changed all the locks and everything.
He locked you out of your own house.
Yeah,
That's
with
so
all my
messed
stuff
up.
in it, everything. But so it was just this whole marriage situation that really drove my wanting to get out of that situation.
And when they first got married, they both were in agreement that they would still work things out with being in the order, but not live polygamy. And he agreed to that.
And what it was basically we agreed saying that we would not live polygamy unless God himself came down to us and said that we had to get to heaven.
But he still went behind your back and went to the dances and tried to get a second wife. So
yeah, I knew I was leaving my husband and I was never going back. And so, like, throughout that process, I understood and started to realize I can't be part of the order if I don't want to be with my husband, because to this day, the order thinks that you're spiritually married forever. For
and
all
there's
eternity.
no option for divorce in the order.
Yeah. So it's like, well,
Which is funny, because I'm sure even if there was some way that you could stay in the order, eventually down the line you would have left anyways. But it's like they wouldn't even allow you to be in the order if you wouldn't do exactly as they say and live exactly how they want you to. And then so I guess the divorce did happen kind of while you were still in the cult. But out of the many years that you've been gone, did we decide, is it 9 years, 10 years that you've been out?
9 years.
9 years.
2013, right?
Amanda even remembers it, the exact day, and so we got to film her video on the day that it was her 9-year mark.
That's pretty
That was really cool.
There was a police report filed that day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so this question I also asked Amanda and hers, but out of the 9 years of you being gone, would you say that divorce or that escape experience was the hardest thing that you've been through? Or what would you say on that?
Not necessarily, because you have to remember that throughout those 9 years now being gone, trying to adjust to certain things in life can be really difficult because of the upbringing of the order. So it's like you're not prepared to handle certain things, like even as simple as being in a relationship or learning what healthy, unconditional love is. Whatever it is that you're trying to apply to your life after you've left can make other situations a lot more difficult because you don't know how to handle them.
True, I like that. That's a really good answer. So then, in comparison to all the struggles you had in the order versus the struggles you've had in the 9 years out, do they compare? Would you say some are worse than others, or how would you compare those types of struggles?
I definitely feel like I have a lot more of, which is crazy to say, I have a lot more of a support system out here than I ever did in the order, because it was always like survival mode in the order. You're kind of getting in each other's way and fighting for your own, struggle of life. But out here, it's like you come together because you really, truly love helping each other out. it's an unconditional support of love type of situation versus you have to come together over here to survive.
Because there's no force on the outside. People that work together and like to do kind things for each other, it's just because they want to.
It grows into this thing that you enjoy and want and love to do instead of have to do in order to survive.
Nice. I love that answer. And kind of to summarize, Erin, I guess to you, would it be correct to say that as hard as it was these 9 years on the outside to adapt and figure things out, it doesn't even compare to the struggles and the confusion and the stress of being in the Kingston polygamous group, right?
Oh yeah. Well, especially if you compare to what it would have been like if I would have stayed in my marriage, had, you know, baby after baby, whatever.
Yikes.
That struggle would have been a lot worse and insane than what I've had to go through out here.
Oh, out of those 9 years then, because the order members, they always say, oh, everyone that leaves is going to be begging to come back. It's been 9 years now. Has there ever been times that you have considered going back or thought about it or like anything like that?
No.
No?
It is an interesting concept though, because I don't want to, like, I've had discussions where like we'll sometimes talk about childhood memories, right? That were fun and great because we grew up together, right?
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't mean that we just had every single day of our life was just the worst thing ever in the world. It was just the fact that the overall picture of it could have been such a better experience had there been an actual team of people raising us instead of just having to always be in survival mode again. You know?
And I always think about that, like, as a kid, it wasn't that bad because we didn't know what was going on and we didn't have that much parental supervision, so we got to kind of do whatever we wanted. But as you become a teenager and there's way more responsibility put on you and way more control, and even like you get taken advantage of a lot of the times, that's when it gets really hard. And I can't even imagine what it'd be like getting married in Nicole and having to go through all the stress that comes with that and dealing with polygamous in-laws and all of that, you know, the stress from both parents on both sides. And
I will point out too that being the oldest, I don't feel like I had a childhood ever. I really do feel like from
that's true.
The
You
minute
mommied
that,
a lot of us, huh?
That like our mom was trying to raise all of us basically almost as a single mother, and sure, our dad did some things, but in comparison, like, she was really struggling, and so I feel like any chance she could put some of that responsibility on someone else, me, she would, because how else do you survive, you know, in those situations? And so I do feel like I remember some of my earliest memories of, even Amanda remembers babysitting when we were all under, like, I think 7, the youngest that I was left to babysit, and like, you know, it's just things like that you don't think about as you're growing up, but looking back, I'm like, wow.
And I loved when Cammie would babysit. I remember we would do this follow the leader thing, and she was always the leader, right? And she would lead us through the kitchen and like put a cracker on the counter, and I'd eat the cracker off the counter and stuff like that. Just follow her around. We had a lot of fun together.
It's funny. And what's funny is, honestly, I don't remember a lot of those. Like, I feel like those were rare to me to have fun babysitting, because I do feel like it was a lot of times where I would, and I'm sure you remember, I would yell sometimes and be like, Mom's going to get upset if we don't have these chores done when she gets home. You know, it was a struggle sometimes, but like you said, there were times that we had fun. And
yeah, and I want to share this story really quick because we always talk about how Amanda and I have quite a bit different personalities than Cammie and Rachel. And so Amanda and Cammie would butt heads all the time, being the two oldest siblings, you know, and Cammie was always the one more put in charge and stuff. But I'll never forget when one time Amanda was rollerblading in our kitchen. And our kitchen was tiny. This was the second house we ever had growing up. Tiny little 2-bedroom house or whatever. And the kitchen was just a tiny 10-foot strip. She was rollerblading back and forth. And Cammie was like, stop it. And Amanda was like, make me.
This was like the 7th time I tried to tell her to stop.
And Amanda always would have her hair up in a little ponytail. So Cammie reaches for the ponytail and yanks her down. And she's on skates, so her feet just fly up in the air. And she slaps down on the ground. And I remember watching her yank her ponytail and Amanda fall. And I was just like, oh.
It's funny because I really don't remember that, so I must have hit my head pretty hard. But
and you having to take a lot of the responsibility, feeling like the mom. So speaking of our childhood, do you ever remember you and I fighting, or what was I like as a kid? How would you describe it?
I do remember kind of, for a period of time, I do feel like you were really annoying.
Okay, annoying's better than a little.
Just got over that.
Yesterday. No, I think it was just kind of like being the older sister, always feeling like I have to tell you, stop doing that, or this, being the mother, it was tough. Like,
Do you think mom felt that way about all of us? Like, get away from me.
Yeah, I think she did sometimes.
Sometimes,
definitely.
for sure, yeah.
And it makes sense when you have that many kids all the time, constantly 24/7,
And we're always like, I'm sure we were so loud and always like getting into trouble and doing stuff. Climbing, I climbed everything as a kid, man.
Did.
I was a big climber.
I remember your parkour phase.
Oh yeah,
Still in it.
I loved it.
Oh yeah.
Just the other day, I climbed one of Amanda's trees with a chainsaw and was
Oh my
hacking away
gosh.
at it. It was so cool.
I
I had a
Without
lot of
my
fun.
supervision.
If it was under your supervision, you wouldn't have done
No.
that.
She would have been throwing
a
rocks
ladder.
at me. Get down!
Yeah.
He is an adult. I can't be filmed. I just have to get in.
Amanda was filming me. We got a cool
oh,
shot.
Yeah, but when he was on the roof, I was so nervous when he was on there because it looked he was so close to the edge. But you know what? That's what it was like growing up with him.
Yep.
Just constantly having a heart attack. Because he was
Right?
so close.
Yeah.
I just
All the
love the adrenaline, and like sometimes I do look back and I'm like, I'm surprised that I'm not in the hospital or something. But it's like I to me in my head it makes a lot of sense that it's like, okay, the more I practice and experience, the better I'm gonna be at it, So now I truly feel like I can do way more dangerous things than most people can because I've practiced and experienced. That it's like I'm a professional stuntman pretty much at this point, just doing crazy things. But
And now you just gotta get paid for it.
I know, if I could just figure out a way, that would be awesome. Okay, but speaking of our childhood, were there any specific fights that you remember? And do you remember when I used to steal candy out of your candy drawer?
I do remember. That was so annoying.
And I remember when we were small, there was a rule in our family, we couldn't have gum until we were 8 years old for some reason. So literally, the only way I could get gum is if I stole it from Cammie's drawer.
I had a very specific candy gum drawer.
And she always had the most candy, I swear. You were the only one in our family that had a candy drawer, a specific drawer dedicated to gum and candy. And
It's because I worked at John's Marketplace.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
would just
You
take
could get what you
home.
wanted.
They had like expired whatever, and I'd just bring it home. And I feel like I would put stuff in there that I didn't really eat that much of because I knew you guys all knew where it was.
Yeah.
But
I loved it. It was like the biggest treasure hunt for me to just go in there and get all the candy. It was great. But
funny.
do you remember any specific fights that we had? Or like, I remember with Amanda, we'll never forget when I broke her dog statue. I don't know
Aw.
if you and I specifically fought because it was more like you would get mad at all of us kids. Was there ever a time it was me specifically though?
I don't remember a specific time for you. I do remember. Do you remember that time where you tried to eat my tooth?
Yeah, I was so small though. I did not understand what happened, and you literally put it in my hand. So I was like,
I literally.
Oh, it was maybe
I
in
had
your hand,
Lost
huh?
my tooth as a kid, and I was like showing everyone, because I was excited, and I go up to him. I'm like, let's go look at my tooth, and I guess he didn't hear me say tooth, and he like.
I thought it was
grabs
a
it,
candy.
puts it in his mouth.
She always had candy, so I was like, oh, candy. And I tried to eat it.
Oh my gosh! I was like, let's go.
Did you chew it?
I don't know. She made me spit it out
Got
right
it
away,
out,
but
I was like, oh my gosh.
that was a funny moment. I forgot about that.
That was his
Yeah.
new house. You guys were
Mhm.
really young at
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember that now. Yeah, I vividly remember thinking I was getting some candy. But that is funny. That's a good one. I'm
Yeah.
glad you remember that one. Heck yeah. Dang. We definitely had a fun childhood, even with all of its ups and downs. And I'll never forget the babysitting train and just following her around and doing her stuff. It was cool.
With the cheese. break
Oh, yeah.
in as well.
Now this is crazy, guys. This is how good my immune system must have gotten from all this, because we did not have care about germs, I guess, because we were kids, obviously. And she would go around with that easy cheese and would like squirt it on the counter and spray it on the door
We
and
would
even
have
on
a
the
tray of
doorknob.
people
And I would
like,
just go
spray,
and lick
spray,
it right
spray.
off of whatever she
Every
would put
kid,
it on, you
lick,
guys. Anything.
lick.
I would just lick it off because I wanted that cheese so bad.
Whatever way we could entertain ourselves.
I wish so bad we could have that on film somehow. Just
I
us
know.
following it, and you just looking around the house. What should I squint it on next? Just putting it everywhere. Oh man, those were good times. Okay, now more of the questions about like you growing up, experiencing life. Because I asked Amanda about like swearing, how she finally gets to swear and like thinks it's. She enjoys being able to do that because now it's her choice. You know, she makes that choice. What are your thoughts on swear words and like, do you swear?
I do swear here and there. I definitely filter myself around children. I try to be PG around children. But I definitely just feel like it should just come down to if you're using that swearing to hurt somebody, that's just as bad as...
Just as bad as like trying to go out of your way to hurt somebody.
Yeah.
You know? It's just pointless.
Yeah, but if you're just like in your own car and you slam on the brakes because somebody cuts you off, then, you know, I don't know. Like, I don't feel like that's a big deal. But
Yeah. And I really want to bring this up with you because I remember as a kid, you were one of the first ones I ever remember hearing a swear word from. And I remember being like, oh, Cammy.
wait, was that the fight with my half brother? That's the first time?
Yep.
Yeah, that one was tough. That one,
And I was like probably 12 or I was decently old, you know? So I was like, I'd gone a long time without ever hearing swear words. I'm sure maybe I heard one from at school or from a stranger, but like that didn't like stick in my head because this was the first time from someone that like I knew personally, I guess,
Yeah.
you know? And so it stuck in my head and I was like, whoa, it definitely. But like now even a lot of people know, like I say swear words, but very rarely because I feel like there's a lot of power to them. And you said it perfectly. Like if you use it to hurt people, then obviously that's wrong. But if you use it for their true intentions and purpose or like for actual, like with a purpose, then it's fine. But yeah, I think that's wise words from Cammy. She definitely always teaches me new things. Okay, what about like, for example, your first kiss? How old were you when you had your first kiss?
It was
'Cause I bet I was
my
older.
ex-husband.
So on your wedding day, or was
No,
it? Ooh,
it was before
okay.
my wedding
But
day,
it was
but-
with the guy that you married.
When I was 17.
17. Okay, so I was older than you. Think
Yep.
that's wild.
Yep. And it's kind of crazy looking back on it now. I'm like I was a good order kid. Okay, like I just was a goody good in the order. And I like when I talk to a lot of order kids now, I'm like, dang, like how, like the times have really changed big time because
How
there's
so?
in the sense that like a lot of order kids now don't believe that it's that big of a deal to kiss or to like.
Really? Yeah, it was a huge
It
deal
was
when we were little. Huh?
huge.
How did you feel? How did you convince yourself to let yourself kiss him before you married him?
Because I was like, well, we're getting married anyways.
Mhm.
What's the big deal?
Okay,
Like,
but it had to be with someone you were going to marry for sure.
that's
Okay.
what in order what you're taught. So
Exactly. Dang. And it was probably a huge deal, right? When you finally kissed him and you're like, oh my goodness, lost my virgin lips.
huge deal. Yep. Yeah, but it's fun, kind of funny too though because I didn't just kiss before we got married.
Whoa, really?
Because I feel like once
You're not a virgin?
Spill those beans.
Sex isn't real, you guys.
I made it through my marriage and I'm still a virgin, guys. So, no, I just think that once I feel like we kind of talked about how we're engaged, we're going to be married, we know we're going to be together forever, right? Then what's the difference in doing it now versus then?
Whoa, see, I didn't even know that. This is my first time figuring that out, you guys.
I think
Dang.
a lot of order couples, especially the first wives, do that,
Probably.
and because they've never experienced that, right? So
Yeah.
it's really exciting.
I think that's probably also another reason why they want you to get married so quickly because they know that it's hard to wait.
And I've
Dang, but they also
heard-
want you to have babies really fast, too.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah, that's true.
Dang. That's wild. Interesting. learn something new every day. But this is why this is so cool. I love doing this with my sisters because I feel like I know them super well, but I still learn new things. And so you guys are getting the juiciest of it all, you guys.
Yep.
All the information. No filter, especially for the Patreon version of these, man.
Ooh.
No filter. So if you don't get enough from this, you can always go check it out over there. Have you ever kissed a girl? This is just an interesting one I like to ask people.
Yes.
Okay. I don't understand why it seems so okay that girls can kiss girls and it's no big deal. But if a guy kisses a guy, you're just automatically gay.
Right.
But it's just kind of funny.
It is kind of an interesting double standard.
Why did you kiss the girl? Just for the heck of it
dare.
or what? A dare?
Yeah.
Okay,
Just
so
a
it didn't
dare.
mean anything then?
No.
Okay.
No, but I do think that it's interesting because I just think that women in general are just like able to be closer and not be bothered in that sense. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Just like how girls are a lot more huggy and like guys gotta do the bro hug or else it's weird
Like
or
fist
whatever.
pump.
Yep.
I don't know.
Dang.
I
Okay.
think it's because men sexualize everything. Just kidding, cut that out.
Put it on Patreon.
She's a little upset at guys right now. So.
We all are.
Like,
Well,
I'm
most
trying
of
to
us.
figure out how come it is that if you hear a girl kiss a girl, that's very normal. But if you hear a guy kiss a guy, then that now all of a sudden there's this label on him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it's also even more than that. Like if a girl slaps a girl's butt, it's just like, oh, they're playing around. But if a guy slaps a guy's butt, it's like, get out of my house.
Unless you're playing football.
I know,
Well,
right?
that's true, I guess. You're right.
Or in the
some
locker room,
situations.
maybe. I don't know.
It's like, why
They like
is
whip the
it-
towels.
Yeah, it's
That's
so
true. That's true because we can shower together, no problem. It's not a big deal, but it's like.
I mean, for some guys, I think that's a big deal, but I don't
Oh,
know.
really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Who knows?
Interesting. Okay. All right. Well, what about jobs? Because you're like the most responsible one in our family, and like I don't
Rachel's
think
pretty
I've ever been
responsible.
fired from a job. Have you ever experienced being fired from a job?
Being fired from an outside job? No.
You got fired from an order job?
Well, it's just like they just basically say you don't
Get outta
you
here.
don't need to work here anymore.
Oh, and that is their way of firing people,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Can I switch sides or is that bad to do?
No,
In
you
the middle
can.
of it?
You want
Yeah.
it? Sweet. What's up, guys? We're talking about advanced copy. You got fired from that, or they asked you to stop working there?
It was just kind of basically they said that they don't need my help anymore. That's what it was.
And you were probably like, what, 13, 14? How old were you?
No, actually, it was. Yeah, actually, I might have been 15. Actually.
I was 14 when I first started working there. It was kind of my first, I'm pretty sure it was my first job ever. Unless you count the at-home work they made me do. But
Yeah.
advanced copy was the first job I ever had at 14 years old. And I remember going there and just being like, where's the works? What do I do? And they would just be like, take this broom. And literally I'd be like, just sweeping the most random places. And like, they would say do that all day sometimes because they had nothing else for me to do. So I'd sweep everything and then I'd just be pretending to sweep. Just walk around with the broom. What else you need?
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I just
I
never.
don't think I got paid though, so it doesn't
I
matter
know.
what I was
I
doing.
never really checked what I got paid. I just
Mm-hmm.
did what I was told. So.
But, and it was interesting because they would let me operate these big old cutting machines and like the drills and stuff, and it was like that was pretty dangerous too.
Heavy machinery, 15-year-old.
I know, yeah, a 14-year-old. And I will never forget, Rachel and I both worked there, right? And they were like, okay, we got a big project for you to do, so you guys need to do it together. It's going to take two of you. And we were like, heck yeah, we're going to work together, okay. And it was to paint this room, like a whole, I think it was 2 walls in this room that was kind of like closed, like not very good ventilation. So we were painting it, and we started laughing hysterically, you guys, just going crazy. And I think the paint was really getting to us. And we were just laughing. We were literally laughing so hard in painting that we just started dropping stuff and we like knocked over the can of paint. Even the big old water jug at one point, I was like standing on it for some reason and it fell over and water was like gushing out of the room. And they were all like, you guys, get out of here. And they had to give the job to somebody else.
Oh, boy.
But I swear, the paint got to us, man. That was, from my memory though, it was so fun. I remember enjoying it a lot. And with Rachel there, just joking with her and laughing. It was
They
awesome.
just make you paint with something that's like lethal. Poison.
Well, any amount of painting that much in a small room would have driven made people go a little crazy. But it was fun. I liked it. I didn't like the job in the end. I was so glad to be done. But that's the only one that you've ever been fired from. That's wild. How many jobs would you say you've had throughout your lifetime now?
Oh, wow.
Because it's a lot. Yeah, a lot of us have gone through a ton of jobs. Because in the order, like, you're just going from job to job all the time. And then on the outside, I swear, a lot of the times when I would work just my basic minimum wage jobs, I would just get bored. And I'd just apply to other places just for fun, for the experience. Because literally, I'd be getting paid the same much. During my minimum wage paying, like, time period, I just would go from job to job just for the experience, just to learn. And because I wanted, what's that called? Adaptability? No, I wanted variety, basically.
Yeah,
So.
that makes sense. I didn't spend too much time in just a minimum wage job because I've stayed in my career field for almost the entire time that I've left. So I have,
Oh, wow.
I have about 8 years of experience in my career field now. But I did start, so I think if I were to say like each job that I've had, I've actually not had too many because I started with a lab company, then I went to work for a university. I changed positions within that university, but I still stayed within that university, and then I went to the company I'm with now. So technically I've only been with 3 different companies.
Since you left?
Mm-hmm.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's really good. See, I'm telling you guys, she is really responsible. I should be taking notes, I swear, but she helps me a ton. It's awesome. But that's really cool. Dang. And I think it's awesome that almost everyone in our family has the work ethic that none of us really have experience getting fired. We all either leave our jobs or have to put in the 2 weeks or quit or progress from one to the next for other reasons. We've never been so bad at our jobs that the people actually fire us. And I think that's awesome.
Yeah, definitely teach a pretty good work ethic.
Yep. When you're a little servant boy growing up, you get good at that stuff.
Yep.
Okay, what about this one? I guess is just kind of a funny one, but if you somehow got the opportunity and the Mafia came to you and asked you to join the Mafia, would you join the Mafia?
100%.
You could teach them some things we learned in the
Oh,
order.
yeah. I would be a great asset. Is this my job interview? No, I would definitely never get involved with that sketchy stuff. It's a cult in itself, of course.
Oh yeah, it's more than just a cult. That's like the Illuminati stuff, you guys.
It's pretty crazy. But it's definitely interesting to learn about. I love...
And I love the idea of you and Amanda were researching to possibly do a video comparing the Kingston Polygamous Group to the Mafia and see all the similarities.
It is strange how similar some things are. Like, I never realized that the Mafia did the number system as well, and just like they basically teach their own law of one above another, but it's like you respect the patriarchal system in the Mafia, right? You go to the leader, or you do whatever the leader says.
Because it's like just like that, the order's so focused on loyalty, like you do what you're told almost no matter what. And so they just like that. That's the best way to control people. What about, do you care if we share a little bit about like spirituality and what your thoughts are on, like, being closer to Christ, figuring out your own inner peace and things like that?
Sure. Like just where I'm at with all that right now? Yeah. I think that it's a kind of a lifetime journey for everybody. And I've found a lot of freedom in researching the Bible for myself, even the Book of Mormon, all types of religion, really. And it's so interesting, and how therapeutic doing that type of research is, and understanding your own spiritual awareness. Somebody that it seems pretty successful and has a lot of their life together, how that really goes hand in hand with how self-aware they are. There's a dust storm happening out there.
That looks cool. Yeah, aren't those common in Arizona?
Yeah.
What do they
I
call
think
them? High
so.
booms or something?
Isn't it like a dust tornado something? Dust bowl? I don't know.
Heck yeah.
Anyways, that was
Sweet.
interesting. I got distracted with
Well, this question kind of goes along with that. Like, first of all, would you ever go skydiving with me? Is that something
Yes.
you'd like to do? Heck
I
yeah.
would, definitely.
She's got an adventurous side of her, you guys. That's awesome. We just need to share that with Amanda a little bit. I think that'd be so cool. My next skydiving trip, then we should do it together. I think that'd be awesome.
Adventurous. I'm like,
I had to live myself.
I feel like I'm bold. I share my whole life on the internet.
Well, that's
I would
bold.
target
Yeah,
on
that's
that.
true. You're adventurous in your own way. You're just afraid of heights.
You're
is
not
what
an
I think.
adrenaline junkie, I feel like.
Oh,
It's just
yeah,
not
that's
fun for me.
why.
I feel like I would pass out and just be a dead, like, leg
Dead weight.
flapping around like. What are those things in the car when you sell a car that they're like the inflatable?
Oh,
things?
yeah.
Oh, little
Like,
people.
flying around.
That'd be entertaining.
I don't know. I went skydiving just a couple weeks ago, and it was an amazing experience. I can't wait to go again. If it wasn't so expensive, I would go all the time. It was awesome. But
I actually worked with a girl she worked as a tandem skydiver, so she would
Really?
take people skydiving.
that's so cool. Yeah, for me to get certified, they have a whole class at the same place that I went to. I could take the class and get completely certified to take people and to go on my own and everything.
Yeah, she was
That'd be
trying
so
to get,
cool.
you have to get a certain amount of jumps in order to be able to, have you seen those fly suits? You have to
Yeah.
get certified for that, and by doing that, you have to skydive have a certain amount of jumps.
Well, this question was leading to, because the way it relates to a little bit of spirituality and like finding your inner peace, is if you were to go skydiving today, would you feel okay if you didn't make it? Like if something went wrong and, everyone has chances to die. And in that moment, if you did, how would you feel? Like, would you be okay with the life that you've lived and where you're at now?
I mean, I have to come to terms with that every time I get on an airplane.
That's true.
I think I'm not afraid of death at all in that sense, because it has been quite a journey of becoming spiritually aware and just a lot of journaling type of situation, and just understanding that, at least from my perspective, then I feel like people just psych themselves out way too much by thinking, oh, I have to do all these very specific things if I want to get to heaven, right? If I want to have a good afterlife, if I want something more than this life or whatever. And it's like, to me, you're never going to accomplish what you think you have to get to heaven.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm sorry, in every religion that I've seen, are you really the judge?
Exactly.
So to me, I'm like, at the end of the day, as long as, like, I really liked this saying called integrity guards the heart, because it really does. It's about understanding that you're responsible for you and your spiritual well-being, yourself, and that's the most that you can do, as long as you're doing your best at trying to be self-aware, treat others the way that you want to be treated. And I think there's different ways of doing that, right? Some people join Christianity, whatever way works best for you.
Yeah, some people don't even join a church. They just find their own group of people to like feel spiritual worth and to discuss. And I feel like that's so important, because you have to have your own belief system and like find a way to express it and share it with others, so that you not only like better understand it, but so that you can find out why you want to believe that way, or how it helps you to grow as a person to believe that way.
And I really do feel like, if you believe in a creator, why, like, there's a reason that we're all made so differently. We weren't made to all fit in this little box, the same box for every single person. There's a reason we are all so very different.
Oh yeah, I like that. And I feel like that's a big motivator to, even though we're all so different, to figure out how to coexist, how to get along, learn that skill of being able to get, like, just be okay with other people being different, and to be happy with them, and to still, befriend everyone. We're all brothers and sisters, and I love that idea of just one big family, and that we're meant to help lift each other up, not step on each other to get to the top.
Yep.
I love that. I think that's so important, especially, I always like asking this question. If you went skydiving and you didn't make it, how would you feel? Because I think what spirituality is for me, and why I like my religion so much, is just so that I can find an inner peace, so that I can be content with the decisions that I'm making, and to just be more intentional about the decisions that I'm making, why I'm living the life that I'm living, and so that I can put a lot more effort and purpose into each and everything that I do. Because I think that helps a ton.
I like that, because I do also feel like we all have that desire to have a sense of purpose for a reason as well. And so understanding that about yourself, rather than just letting it direct you without knowing how or why, is so important.
Lead your own way, make your own path, create your own story.
And
you
it's
know?
it's understandable to get other people's input. Like, obviously we are social creatures, we're human beings in that sense, so it's not like you have to sit there and never listen to anybody. But I like that, being able to live intentionally and understand where your actions are coming from is, I think, really important.
And you might as well use that to your advantage, because human beings are amazing. We can adapt. We're great at learning and taking in information and like making something of it. But we're also very complicated. And this leads me to my next question, because I know dating for me is so hard. Do you mind sharing like your status right now?
Sure.
Are you taken?
So I guess, I mean, I'm not available is what I would like to say, because
What? You're
I'm
not
dating
No, you guys.
myself,
She is
okay?
single. She is single she's as single as me. Okay, she's available. If you guys like her, then send me a message.
Are you trying to be her wingman?
Oh my goodness.
No, I'm just letting people know she is available.
No, I think this does tie in really well to the live an intentional life, because ever since I got engaged, I have actually not been single for more than 3 months in my entire adult life.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I think
dang.
that's insane to me.
I've been single for a long time, you guys. But
And I guess I
don't
should
mind.
say single as in not dating either. So not dating, not being with anybody, whatever.
Yeah.
The longest was 3 months.
Dang.
And it's crazy, because you really do, if you're not allowing yourself to journal, be self-aware, like when you're dating somebody or you're with somebody, they influence your life heavily all the time, right? You're constantly talking to them, you're always valuing their opinion, type of thing. And so it's really difficult, I feel like, to truly understand where your actions are coming from if you are so intertwined with somebody all the time, you know? So I think that is kind of where I'm at right now, where I really want to understand where all my actions are coming from, and kind of pinpoint all of that, like how I did and still continue to do with the Bible. I feel like with my journey of researching the Bible and religion, etc., it has really helped me understand and pinpoint, like, oh, I have this habit because of the order, and where did the order get this from? And then I go look for it, and I'm like, wow, this isn't even in the Bible. This isn't even in the Book of Mormon, you know? And this is literally just because of my upbringing, not because of the Bible or whatever, you know? And it's just really interesting to see and understand exactly where all of that is coming from.
Dang, I like that. That's a really good point. A lot of the times we just hear information and we just believe it. It's like we just go with it, when I think it's way more important to understand and, like, you know, research it, figure out why. And you don't have to, like, I don't trust Google 100% either, you know? Like, I like getting information from multiple sources, figuring it out for myself. And so I like that. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Dang.
I'm obsessed with research.
Yeah, that's why you have the perfect job. You're so lucky. That's
Do
awesome.
it for a living.
Heck yeah. Okay, so what about, do you have a, oh, dang it, I thought of one that I was going to say. Anyways, do you have a favorite pickup line?
Pickup line?
Yeah.
Like for someone to come to me, or me going to somebody?
Either one, whichever one, whatever's your favorite, I guess.
I don't know that I've had my own pickup line. But I'm trying to think of, like, how, because I haven't seen anyone be really that creative.
Really?
Yeah, like, it's just really,
Ugh.
I don't know.
Sorry, my leg fell asleep, so I was
Almost
going
like I like it when it's not a pickup line, when it's just talking, and then you become friends, and then you decide that you like that person and have to date them, rather than I'm coming up to you because of how you looked, so how are you?
Right.
baby?
Yeah. Did you fall from heaven?
That's my favorite pickup line.
Yes. No, I think it is cute though when people do try to get creative instead of just be like, "Hi, what's your name?" You know.
That's
But
true. Yeah, I just hate how awkward dating can be sometimes, and sometimes it's way too complicated.
yeah.
And it's like, I do like the saying that is like, if you are looking for someone to make you happy and like you need a person to make you happy, then that's the wrong like mindset to have. You should find a way to make your life happy, like while you're just on your own. You need to be happy with yourself and happy with your life. Then when you go meet with someone, you can amplify each other's happiness. I feel like that's what the goal should be.
I like the perspective too of not you're looking for an equal. You're not looking for somebody to complete you. You're looking for an equal to enjoy life together. You know? So
Nice. That's so true.
but it is interesting because I think that is another thing that the growing up in the order really, really set us back with. Like, I feel like relationships have been a really difficult thing because of our upbringing.
Yeah, well, obviously, that's definitely a toxic idea if you're like, God's just going to have her fall in my lap, you know? It's like you don't need to search, you don't need to prepare yourself, you don't need to, like, grow as a person yourself because God's just going to lead them right to your doorstep and your wife will just be awesome because it's from God, you know? Everything's going to work out great. Where it's like in the real life, in reality, you need to make sure you're prepared, that you're growing and you're ready for that relationship.
Yep.
And you got to do a little bit of hunting. I'm not going to lie. You got to look for them. They're not just going to walk and fall on your lap. So.
And if they do, well, be careful.
Be careful. True. That's
Definitely second guess those ones.
I think we're almost out of time. So for the last question, do you have any role models? Or who would you say is your biggest role model or has been throughout your life?
Role models, that's a good one. It's definitely been a little piece of a lot of people that I keep in my life. You know, I have a lot of different friends that I've kept in connection with, and if they're watching this, they'll know who they are. But it's kind of like, despite how much, you know, distance or time we spend apart, it doesn't matter. We're able to come back and hang out and talk and be friends and, you know, give each other advice on anything, discuss whatever. And I just really like holding on to those certain types of people in my life. But I do feel like you guys, honestly, my sisters and brothers are I admire you guys a lot. Like, I feel like you guys put a lot of really good input into my life. So definitely, you guys are my role models too.
Heck yeah, I love that because you guys definitely inspire me, give me a ton of motivation, and just make me want to do so much more with my life. And I love
really
that.
think that because we've had each other, it's made us progress more. It was definitely a lot harder before Espo and Rachel left, I feel like. And now there's been a paved way. It's been, like you said, 9 years we've been out.
Which I love hearing that because I like to know that I helped you guys a little bit too. Because from my perspective, you guys helped me so much, and I didn't feel like I had very much to offer. You know, I just didn't know what was going on, and you guys were helping me and stuff. And so, I think that's awesome.
I think we've all taken turns helping each other. For sure.
Nice.
Yep.
That's why I'm willing to climb Amanda's trees for her.
Yes. He says it like he didn't enjoy it.
I had a lot of fun. It was cool. But it was also helpful. We got a lot done. But anyways, this is awesome. I think we're probably going to wrap it up from here. But this is my sister, Cami Grant, you guys. She's amazing. She literally left the Kingston Polygamous Group with $300 and not even a car. If you guys know my story, I left with my car. I planned it out for 6 months, and she literally did it all, and she's doing so well. She's a huge success now, and she helps me a ton. So I love hearing her story. Thank you so much for sharing it. Is there anything else you want to add before we say goodbye?
And I was here too.
Amanda's like, peace out.
Amanda has to feel a part of everything. You guys. No, I literally asked her to poke her head in during this, so I'm glad she did.
I'm being paid to be here.
Oh yeah, there you go. I'll just add that I really am also proud of you too for all of the stuff that you've put on your channel and how much work. Like, you teach me some stuff that I'm like, okay, wow.
Heck yeah, I love hearing that.
It's
Thank
pretty
you.
awesome.
That's cool, and I'm glad because I really enjoy making these. Amanda always talks about how I really like making my intros. You guys, I have so much fun with it, and like I would do this even if I didn't get paid. I enjoy it a lot, and so I'm glad you guys like watching it too. I'm so glad I'm able to make it more of like an event too, to see my sisters and do stuff with them, to get their stories out there as well. It's so much fun. I'm glad you guys like it, and I hope you guys will give this one a good thumbs up.
Hit the notification bell thingy. Is that what you do?
Oh yeah, exactly. There you go. And it makes a huge difference, you guys. I love that, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Thank you guys.
See
Bye.
you.
Okay, should we check it out? Yeah, isn't this awesome?
Yes.
I'm so excited. Right in my way. I don't know how.
Move it this way?
Let's see.
Is that better?
Yeah, can we have it somewhere in the middle of? Oh, that's perfect. Heck yeah. Sweet. Yeah.